Hello viewers, welcome to another edition of Behind the News coming from the stables of The Nation Online TV. I am Ayooluwa Ayobami and I would be your host for today. However, I am not here alone as I have with me my indefatigable, delectable, good-looking, amazing, handsome and most accurate Mr. Abimbola Olakunle. Mr. Abimbola, good afternoon.
Good morning. Good morning.
I still one of the adjectives since last week for today, and I'm so glad I was
King of adjectives. Can hear you.
This is Behind the News, where we analyze, dissect some of the news stories in few of our national dailies. And in the studios with me this morning, I have The Nation's newspaper, I have New Telegraph, and I also have with me The Punch newspaper. These are the three national dailies with me in the studio. And I'm going to start by reading through the headlines on the front page of this national dailies, and I'm going to start with our very own, talking about the widely circulating newspaper, The Nation newspaper. And on the window page, it has 1.5 million candidates register for UTME exam to hold April 25. Natasha sues Akapabio, others for 100.3 billion naira. Attack on APC, Tinubu. Presidency, Ribadu, Omokri, Child, El-Rufai. Why IOCs won't leave Nigeria by Lokobiri. Teachers jailed for raping pupils. Reconciliation, inclusivity for new members, top APC INEC agenda. And the lead story, services, petrol refining sector propel GDP growth to 3.84%. FCCPC invites multi-choice CEO over DSTV subscription hike. And over to The Punch newspaper. Tax reform, Senate plans review as customs ASU faults provisions. Afenifere backs Kalu, says declaring Abimbola president long overdue. South governors move against Wike's camp over PDP Congress crisis. Nigeria's World Bank debt may hit $9.2 billion as federal government eyes 6 loans. And on the feature story, why INEC votes count can't be accurate, says Jonathan. Obasa awaiting ruling before returning to assembly, lawyer. Senate backs Akapabio as Natasha files 100.3 billion naira defamation suit. APC dismisses anti-Ganduje plot as El-Rufai absent from NEC meeting. And finally, New Telegraph. Nigeria's economy grows fastest in 3 years at 3.84%. FG's bonds oversubscribed by 719.61 billion naira. Federal government with upgraded visa on arrival to control inflow of travelers. Natasha sues Akapabio for alleged defamation, demands 100.3 billion naira damages. US government excludes UK, Nigeria, others from visa-free entry. Ailing Pope Francis holds Vatican work meeting in hospital. And on the feature story, they have why Tinubu will win second term by Orji Kalu. Federal government reform policies necessary for economic growth, Akume. Afenifere names Obaolaiton as Adebanjo's replacement. Fubara wants Clark immortalized for fighting for better Nigeria. Mohbad, court clears Naira Marley, Sam Larry, 2 others. And these are the stories that we have in this national dailies with us in the studio this morning. And we trust Mr. Abimbola Olakunle to do justice to the few stories that we are going to touch from this national dailies. And we are going to start with the story on the widely circulating newspaper, The Nation newspaper, with the headline, Natasha sues Akapabio, others for 100.3 billion naira. Let me run through the lead before we go shortly into the story. The senator representing Kogi Central on the platform of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, Natasha Akpoti-Udogan, has sued Senate President Godswill Akpabio for alleged defamation of her character. She filed the lawsuit yesterday at the High Court of the Federal Capital Territory, FCT, through a lawyer, Victor Giwa. Natasha is alleging, among others, that Akapabio defamed her by his comments, which were allegedly published by one of his aides in his social media, on the social media platform. It is no longer news, Mr. Abimbola, about the issue between Senator Natasha of Kogi State and the Senate President, Godswill Akapabio. February 20th, that was last week, there was an issue as regards seating arrangements, and it's caused uproar in the Red Chamber. That was last week. Now, yesterday, Senator Akapabio, that's the Senate President, referred, or let's say the Senate as a body, referred Senator Natasha to the disciplinary committee. Now, few moments after, we saw a lawsuit from Senator Natasha alleging defamation against the Senate President. Now, let us start with the issue, because when the issue happened last week, Senator Natasha was alleging some things against the Senate President Akapabio. She was saying he's trying to silence the voice of the female lawmakers in the National Assembly. In your own view, Mr. Abimbola, is this true?
It's not true.
Is it true that Senator Akapabio is trying to silence the voice of the female? Because let me, I'm sorry to cause the short. Let us take it from this angle. We have about 4 female lawmakers. We have Senator Natasha herself. We have Senator Akume. Then we have the this former Rivers State Deputy Governor, also Banigo. Then we also have there's other Senator Ireti Kinigbe also. Now, we've only had issues between Senator Akapabio and Senator Ireti and Senator Natasha. Now, Senator Natasha is claiming that evidence that Senator Akapabio is trying to silence the voice of the female voices in the House of Assembly is evidence is the issue that happened between Senator Akapabio and Senator Ireti. In your own view, because we have other 2 lawmakers that we've not really had any public issue about themselves and the Senate President. What's your view on this?
I have no view. She has said that they are trying to silence her voice. That's an allegation. Until you can prove it, true or otherwise, you cannot sit outside the Senate and pretend to know what is happening in there. I don't think it's fair. As to silencing or no silencing, there's already some sort of presumed silencing. What is the population of the female senators for?
Okay.
How many males are there?
I have about 109 senators.
So they are hopelessly outnumbered. So, but that does not amount to willful silencing of their votes. But I believe that the senator will have some strong reasons to have alleged. I want to believe.
Okay.
I don't want to say to believe that she's flippant or she's playing to the gallery and all that. And I don't want to join on the male bandwagon, because the world is stacked against the woman. You must know that. And if a woman is ugly, she's in trouble. If she's beautiful, she's in the soup. If she's in between, you don't even know. So everything the woman does, it's like if she's not subjected to a mass approval, it's nothing, which I feel is very unfair. So I think it's a controversy. We have to see how it plays out.
Okay.
I hope she's going to court. She has the right to go to court.
Yeah. And
there are 2 issues. Number 1 is the procedures of the Senate. They have their procedures. If she's found wanting there, appears to discipline her according to the senatorial arrangement. That's for the Senate. Then as a citizen, she has a right to go to court for remedy if she claims that her rights have been breached. And she made some proof, as it was, some Facebook,
some Facebook posts.
Facebook, what fella will call your biz, and let's see how it works out. But it's subjudicated now. You cannot you cannot comment on whatever was already in court. But it's a democracy. People will go for their rights, and whether we agree with them or not, well, there will be chances to play to the gallery. The weaker part play to the gallery. The stronger one try to put them under leash. It's all democracy. We see how it works out. At least people are talking. It's not military rule.
Yeah. But back to February 20th, the issue that happened was Senator Natasha, because according to the rules of the House, the Senate President has the right to reallocate seats, and anybody that is not speaking from his or allocated seat would not be recognized. Now, was Senator Natasha right to have talked back at the Senate President for reallocating her seat?
Well, I don't know whether she was right or wrong, but you are all human beings. You can blow your tops. Anybody can blow his top. That's not... so if she blew her tops, well, it could be in terms of decency of the conduct, parliamentary etiquette. Maybe she ran foul of it. But like I said, you didn't know what happened, exactly before she started blowing her tops. And it would be unfair to just sit somewhere to start blaming her for that. There's something I took out from that incident, which again you take with a pinch of salt. There are 2 other senators from our state. Incidentally are APC members. The 3rd person was APC before the election was taken from her and given Natasha. So Natasha is PDP. So they came out to say that their appeal for Kogi Central was wrong, that she should have followed the processes and all that. I want to believe that. But then I want to take with a pinch of salt, because they are from different parties. And you never know who is playing politics and trying to say he's following the facts and people. So it's, I think there are processes where they can solve their problem. Let's await the process and we just explain it again to see whether it was fair or not. But they refer her to the disciplinary committee. It's a road against the Senate President, and they said they've convoked a session to pass a vote of confidence on the Senate President. So let's see how it works out. Probably I don't want to preempt what they are going to do, but we'll see.
Let's see what they will do. But going back to a few years ago, there were videos as at last week that was trending on the internet of a similar scenario between Senator Akapabio and the former Senate President Bukola Saraki in the House. Now, in your view, do you think this is an issue of what goes around comes around, or life na taboo?
Maybe not. Life is full of drama. Good drama, bad drama, in between. We just see how it goes. But it's a parliament. Parliament, crazy things do happen in parliament. They have privileges. If you call somebody a bastard in parliament, you have privilege. You can't go and sue you outside. That suit that she went to, if somebody has said it in the Senate, she cannot sue. Because they have this latitude to say, of course, they are supposed to be responsible whatever they say. But Syria is because the thing was outside the bubble, Facebook expression and all that. But what I feel will be a bit of a challenge there, I don't know, logically, is using what somebody says to a third party, what the person wrote, to have been allegedly prompted by the Senate President. I think she will have quite a time proving that.
Yes.
She will have logically, but then maybe she has other proofs. Maybe we have to wait and see, like I said.
But life is not like, okay, what goes around comes around, like Senator Akapabio is eating from a cake he has served.
It could well be. I mean, life is always a cycle. Although, there are 2 Greek philosophers, Heraclitus. He says, you cannot step in the same river twice. That if you are stepping in the river, when you take another step, it's another river entirely. Which shows that life is in a state of flux. It's always moving. But the other one, Parmenides, said life never changes. It stays as one. Both of them are right in their own different ways. So if you say Akapabio was drinking from a well she made, maybe, maybe the Senate is never going to change. But again, we know we are talking of the 8th Senate, we are talking of the 11th Senate, so it has been. So it's all drama of life, and we see where it leads.
That's how it goes. Okay, before we leave the issue of Natasha and Senator Akapabio, yesterday, while reading the referral of Senator Natasha to the disciplinary committee, Senator Akapabio made a statement talking about senators that came from courts, that there should be sort of a orientation.
There's a bit of a mischief there. Well, what he said is based on facts. She wasn't the original senator that was sworn in. It was because of a court suit that she won the mandate. So there could be some sort of Machiavellian cynicism there to say that, look, senators, English, they have 2 meanings. Denotative meaning, which is ordinary, everyday, common sense meaning. Then you have the connotative meaning, which could be metaphorical, applied, and all that. So, on the face of it, he was making, brutal facts. Indeed, she was a court senator.
Court-brought-in senator.
Court-brought-in senator. But why did the court bring her? If she had won an election fair and square, and if the marriage had not been allegedly taken away, not allegedly, because I proved that it was really taken away. So if it wasn't taken away, why should it be a court brought-in senator? So there's a bit of mischief in the use of language there. Because the tone of that language seems to suggest that, maybe she was brought in by the court. When I was in secondary school, we used to have a saying, new boys are raw, they don't know law. Suggesting that this one is a raw senator, she doesn't even know what, if she had been properly sworn in with the original, she will have. So it was a sort of disapproval of the processes that she took to come a bit. Unfortunately for Akapabio, the processes wasn't available, was above all of them. All of them is the law is the law. But the other part of the thing is that, which he made the point is that, look, you should have off-season reorientation for senators. So people they will know where their rights stop and where other rights begin, so that we have a collective peace in the Senate. That's a valid point. But then try to suggest that because she was a court-brought-in senator, that with due respect to him, I feel was done in bad faith, even though it was so cruelly, so cunning, so cunningly, so stylishly done. If you are not very sensitive to language, you might miss it out. But the innuendo seems to be very clear from the statement.
Because listening to the Senate President yesterday, I could perceive more to that statement coming from court-brought-in senators. I think
he disapproved of the.
And he still made reference to when she first came in, that she raised up around the first day she came in, and it was like, why will you raise up? You are just coming in and you are just getting the law book. Do you know how things are being done here? And he was like, okay, he has to recognize her because she has already been sworn in as a senator and all of that.
I think it should be, part of the senator's body. She's a looker, she's stunningly beautiful, and people, some people don't even know. They don't know how to manage beautiful ladies, So I'm sure she's used to all that. I'm not saying that Akapabio is sexist or anything like that. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that a looker, a stunner in a woman is always a victim of so many, I don't want to call it plots and conspiracies. I don't want to say envy, but there is something about beautiful women that, extract some sort of reaction from people, negative or positive. But, she's not she's not a new woman, and that she's so that young. So she must be used to all that now. But at the end of the day, the Senate will sort out whatever challenges they have. We just have to see how it plays out.
So going forward, let's see if Natasha will be able to get 100.3 billion naira from Senator Akapabio.
That's what the court to say.
Yes, let's see how that plays out. Then let's also see how it plays out within the disciplinary committee. We are told to report in 2 weeks to the House. Quickly before we go, let us journey to the punch. Getting to the punch. This is coming from former presidents of Nigeria. Why INEC vote count can't be accurate, says Jonathan. Let me run through the lead of that story, former President Goodluck Jonathan on Tuesday said the nation was not getting accurate vote counts during elections due to the involvement of those he described as ghost voters. He also said it is better and more honorable for the chairman and other officials of the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, to resign rather than yield to pressure to manipulate elections. According to the ex-leader, the nation's electoral system will continue to grapple with a credibility crisis until there are men of integrity in INEC who will rather resign than succumb to pressure to rig polls. Now, coming from a former president who has been a beneficiary of this system, now, from this, that should we say the former president is trying to allege that there are no credible men in the INEC system?
I don't even know what the man is trying to do. With all due respect to all the student is flabby. Number two is very tried. Tried because it's supposed to know there should be men of integrity in the INEC. Everybody
in a system.
So it's not saying anything new. And to say some good, what are the proofs? What proof did he prefer in that? Look, Jonathan was a former president. He should talk with less flabbiness, with all due respect to him. To just assume that there are ghost workers, you know, and like that, I don't think it's good enough for a former president. It was part of the system. The only abiding grace for Jonathan was that he was beaten in an election and he left his grace. That reinforced his image. He wasn't a great president, everybody knew. Under him, almost everything collapsed. And the crisis that the new government had in 2015 was so obvious, you know. But this allegation of ghost voters, I wish he had mentioned specific instances. Because I do know the electoral system, the reforms in the electoral system started under him. It was under the reform that he won the election in 2011. 2007 election all about it was a complete disaster. It was a killing field. It was everything bad. In fact, it's the worst election ever carried out in this Fourth Republic. 1999 was what fella would call an army arrangement. It was that's Uru to the answer. The army boys, they wanted okay, Abiola had been killed. You wanted a Yoruba person, we will give you a Yoruba person. It was cynical, a cynical push. Okay, give the Yoruba so where is Yoruba. So you had an army who were running away. They didn't know what to happen to them because of the overplayed their hand over the June 12 question, which FB just brought back to say that actually Abiola won the election. As if we did not know. But that's the so they were so scared that they didn't want anybody that would just try all of them and put them in jail for the evil they have, you know, levied on the policy for too long. So 1999 was Uru to the answer. He wanted the Yoruba person to the president. Will give you one, but one that the army can trust. So that offered Obasanjo fitted that one part. 2003 was the beginning of horror. You know, Carter, God bless you, President, late President Jimmy Carter, came and observed the election and said it was a rotten election. 2003. 2007, forget it. I was part of it. I was part of the Aregbesola media. I was a consultant there at Osogbo. I saw how it played out. A week before the election, they nearly killed all of us at the campaign headquarters. Then all over the country, it was blood and gore, you know. And the president was telling them, he said it was going to be do or die. And indeed it was do or die. So from that plumb, from that leader of electoral recklessness and debauchery, 2011, they started talking of voters should have a say and all that. So they started the reforms. You remember that Yaradua, before he died, put the Justice Wise Electoral Reforms Commission or something, panel. Justice Lawal Wise, former Chief Justice of the Federation, and they started the thing. As a matter of fact, this guy, Jega, who later became the first INEC chairman during the reforms. He was a member of that panel, the voice panel. So they got some reform going on. 2011 election was better. 2015 election was far better. Remember in Rivers, they were far. We were talking of ghost reporters now, and the resident electoral commission, whom I can't remember her name now, was tried to call for trying to manipulate why the voter, the reader. There's this before the president won. It's not terrible. The other one. Beavers. Before Beavers, there was this technology to validate the voter card or to validate your thumbprint. Now, there was a conspiracy in Rivers to burn the thing because we all knew that from the Second Republic, you know, the road of Rivers will be the road of Rivers or maybe a Sokoto will be the last. By the time they bring out the fantastic figures, you know that the Marine people have all voted. You know, that was a custom. So in 2015, there was how do I call it, deliberate efforts to frustrate the use of the card reader. Yeah, they call it card reader. In Rivers. And that was to be for Jonathan's benefit. Eventually he lost the election. They got as many votes as they could from Rivers, but it wasn't enough to checkmate the other vote from the country. So I don't know where the man is talking of good voters from. And maybe he has his facts, he has to go away from the story. There was nothing. So if our president should learn to pick his word, you don't just open your mouth and blab. Because whatever we see as some institutional cocktail or cocktail, you know, attached to which is not good enough. I really don't feel it's fair for him to try to demonize Nigeria election. He's talking of Ghana, election in Ghana. That's another bit of self-loathing that everybody does, which I do expect the former president to. Does he even know what happened in Ghana? Does he know that the ruling party in Ghana, you know, they were bent on making that election until the opposition penetrated the systems and exposed the chicanery before they could just checkmate them to hold the election that was acceptable to everybody. Does he even know that? You just look at the survey and start generalizing. I think the foreign president could do better. Well, as president, he didn't sound to be particularly rigorous in his thinking. With all due respect to him, but I expect him that after coming, serving, accepting his defeat, very noble. I mean, it's a plus in Nigeria. It has never happened in Nigeria. If there are any incumbent to be defeated, it will just go away peacefully and say, I don't want the case. That's no for. And that is a redeeming place. Without that, nobody will be talking to Jonathan. But he should try and guide this whatever is left of his dignity and not be making a flabby statement like this. It should be infra big for him as a person, as former president. I'm sorry to say.
I was alleging that some political leaders are in the business of always pressurizing INEC officials.
That's right now. Why is he telling us what we know? We already know that. In fact, I was telling people that people who come to host INEC, they say INEC Beavers, so the other one, Beavers is the main thing that you endorse you as a writer because they see your thumbprint is jammed to your, it's linked to your other biographics, so it's you are not a ghost. So you cannot be talking of ghost worker when you have Beavers, other things being equal. They say if you are not doing logical thinking, you know, then apart from that you have other, which is as you are voting is clocking and is plotting the graph and all that. So the elections are far better than how it held under the first 8 years of PDP, which was part and parcel. They are still far better than the 4 years that drove into power. And in my opinion, it has been incrementally, improving. But it's just that you are improving the technology. You are not improving the mindset of the politician. That's what I'm saying, that some people are in their beach. It's true, we know that. What I expect him to be telling us is how to checkmate those. He's not telling us what we know. We know that, for God's sake. It's not news. Just a waste of ministry and space. And it's not a market woman just making wide allegation. A former president, for God's sake, he wants something more serious and
because come from a former president, it tends to hold more weight.
Of course,
you're telling us that the reasons votes can't count in Nigeria, is he trying to say the last election majority or some of the votes did not count?
Well, they are all playing to the gallery. When I always go back to this Lekki thing. When you try to make a lie, impose a lie, and you say you are acting as a pious person, you are pushing piety to a lie. It's a brazen crime. Look at the so-called Lekki massacre. You said the massacre people there for 1 year. You couldn't get a mass set of bodies. At the end of the day, they said 11 people. 11 people were killed. Massacre. So do you massacre 11 people? Even out of the 11 people, 4 of them, they are not sure whether they are dead or not. One name was repeated twice. So eventually we are talking of 5 people. Even if it's 11, do you talk of massacre of 11 people? And I say that the military are shooting at the protesters. Even the same committee was saying that there was no proof of military grade projectile when they were shooting. The same panel that contextualized massacre. So that's what to get it when we are trying to apply piety to fraud. Not going to well. The president can do better. I will know that the politicians, they want to sabotage everything. So look at those politicians. INEC is doing its best to sanitize the election. I think the mindset of the politicians today, if that's what they're telling us, I understand. But to be pointing fingers of guilt when you cannot have any shop, I don't think it's good enough. And it's making the front page of a newspaper. Flabby empty claim.
Thank you so much for the analysis, Mr. Abimbola. We really need to go now. It is past 1 p.m. already. We need to go. Thank you so much, Mr. Abimbola, for your analysis and for sharing your knowledge with us on Behind the News program. Quick one to elder statesmen, political leaders, or majority of the people in power tend to choose our words very, very carefully, because whatever we say tends to travel far and holds more weight than a normal or a neutral or a natural citizen would
a nameless citizen.
Yeah.
A nameless
citizen. Okay, let's put it that way. A nameless citizen would say. Then let us tend to pick our words carefully. Until next time when we shall come your way again, I remain Ayooluwa Ayobami. Bye for now.